Everybody, Patty Ann here. I'm going to check and see if we end up being live like I hope we will. I'm doing a Facebook Live today because I could not get connected onto YouTube. So after this is over and when it's recorded, then I'll go ahead and put it onto YouTube for people that haven't seen it. So if you're watching from later on YouTube, welcome. Listen, I'm going to pour myself a cup of coffee. You know how I am with my coffee. And I'm going to start with that right now. While I'm waiting for you guys to join me. So let me refresh my page just in case it's just not showing up here and see if it's here. Okay, looks like it's live.
Facebook Live
and let me shush it down.
Connected.
Oh my, okay. All right, so we're live, we're ready to go. Now, as I said, I think I'll talk a little slowly to begin with just to leave a little bit of time for a few more people to join us. But I did want to let you know I am here on Cricut Design Space because in our Facebook group, because everything I do today, you can do with the free version of the Silhouette software. So I'm hoping that you've already gotten that and have been following along with me on how to make SVGs for free. Today I'm going to show you how you can just use the software free and not even have to get the business edition right now to complete today's projects. So one of the things I'm going to show you how to do is to make some different kinds of cards. And I'll wait a few more seconds. And while I'm waiting, let me show you this. Those of you in our group, you probably saw that our Stephanie had written this morning. And I thought it was fabulous, so I wanted to share it with you guys. She said, I decided to make a sign. And oh, by the way, she's from the UK. So those of you in the United States, she's from way over there. And everybody, you know, we're all in this together. But anyway, Stephanie said, decided to make a sign to put in my window and let my postman, the man who delivers my parcels and the refuse collectors, know I appreciate what they're doing for us. And I thought that was a really neat thing to do. So maybe you might like to follow suit and do what Stephanie did and make a little sign so that when your mail carrier comes or the guy who's bringing you your craft supplies comes to your door, he can see this little thank you to him or her. So, all right, let's go now to my other screen down here because I wanted to show you two of the cards I was working on. And I am going to just double check and make sure, make the sound go down on this or exit out. Just want to make sure that truly is live as I thought. Okay, so you guys can see me okay? Hey, Chow. Yeah, okay, everybody can see. Okay, so if you'll comment there in Facebook and just let me know you're here, I'd appreciate it. Anyway, so I see there are 13 of you here. Now 10. Anyway, this is what I'm going to work on today. One of the things, there are several things, and this was completely done with the Silhouette software. I found an image on here, and I'm going to teach you something brand new today on using the software for those of you who've just started following along. But this was a print and cut, and I just cut the square out. But if you'll notice, this was an image onto which I put a really nice offset easily using the software. So let's look up here now, and I want to show you what I'm going to teach today. So let me go to my Silhouette software, and here we are with Stephanie's picture again. I'm going to start way over here on the very left. I think this is the first one I wanted to do, and it sure is. So what this is now, don't get scared away if you have a Cricut machine. I'm telling you, everything I do today you can do. You won't even really need your machine. All you need is this software to make some fancy stuff. So here's this picture. So I found this, let's see, I think I have it shown right here. Let's see, not there. Here it is. So I found this picture right here when I just did a Google search for some free images for Easter Sunday. I found this one, and I wanted you to notice has a black outline around it. It's kind of transparent, which means it's a PNG file, but not a problem because I'm going to show you how to work with this image. So I'm going to right click on it and say copy image. Then I'm going to come to my Silhouette software, and just like I have here, I'm going to say right click and paste. So there's the image, and it comes in just like this. Now, again, I hope you have the free version because you can do this with the free version. Oh, I didn't double check that. Let me double check that to make sure. I'm just all of a sudden a little scared. Okay, here we go, it is. So I just changed mine, so I'm working totally in the free or the basic edition. So what you're going to do is you're going to just trace this, but I want to show you that you're not going to be able to trace it just like it is. If I come over here to the very right hand side to the trace tool, the tool we've been learning about since 2 weeks ago when we started making our SVGs, I click on that and I go select the trace area and I come over here to trace it. Okay, and we know the yellow part is the part that's being traced, but I really want the flowers in the inner part. And it doesn't matter really what I do to the threshold here, I can't get exactly what I want. So this is where I'm going to teach you a new technique. If you've been following along, we've not used this at all yet. So far, all we've done is we've come over to the trace tool. We've said, oh, you can't do it in the free version. In the business edition and probably some higher editions, you can select the trace area or you could select by color. But here, that's not an option, but that's okay because we don't need that for this. So what I'm going to do is going to click off of that. I'm going to come over to a new palette on the right hand side, a new panel. It's this one that looks like a half moon. It's called the Image Effects panel. You see that way over there on the right, Image Effects panel. I'm going to click on that to open it. And when it's open, I'm going to grab this middle one here that still looks like the half moon and it says invert. I'm going to try to do something, but you'll see it's not going to work yet. And the reason why is I have nothing selected over here. So I need to select my image first, and you notice how that puts a box around the whole thing. Then I'm going to come over here and click on the invert, which is the one that looks like the half moon, I think. And once I have that selected, I'm going to take this slider right here and just slide it on over. And look what's happening to my image. See how it's changing? And now I'm going to make it go the whole way over to the right, 100% inversion. Okay, it looks really weird, but that's going to allow us, whoa, I almost spilled my coffee. That's going to allow us to trace it. So now I'm going to come over to the trace, here, toast, select the trace area, and now I can come over here and trace this. Just like that. However, I think I want to up my trace a little bit because look, it's not getting everything. So I'm going to come over here to the threshold and up it a bit. Okay, that looks pretty good like that. And now, since we're going to use this as a print then cut, I'm going to come down here where it says trace. Nope. I'm going to do trace and detach. So once I've traced it, I've upped the threshold. Then I'm going to come down here to trace and detach. And what that's going to do, it doesn't look like it did anything, but if I grab right here, you'll see it's taking those other pieces here out that I don't want. But the easiest way for me to make sure I get all of those extra pieces is to actually grab the image I do want and move it off to the side. And then just drag my, oh, what am I doing up there? Whoopsie, not there. Drag my mouse over here so I can get all those little pieces that are left on my mat or on my media. Can you see how that put boxes around things? That shows me that there's stuff there even though it's very hard to see. So I'm just going to hit delete on my keyboard to get rid of those things. Now I'll bring this guy back up in here. However, I don't want him to be that color. So I can click on him again to select it and then come back over here to the Image Effects panel. Again, it's the one that looks like it's a little moon. Those of you with the Cricut, hang with me. You're going to be able to do this with your Cricut. Don't even need to buy the business edition for today's lesson. You can just do this with the free software. So we're going to go back again to this invert tool. And I'm going to move this on down back to where it was, just like that. Look at that. But this is the secret part that you guys are going to love to have a Cricut. You know how you always want to put offsets on everything and you can't do it in Cricut very well? Well, if you just want to do a print then cut, of like a square or a rectangle or something like that, you can do that right here. So watch. I'm going to put an offset around this. So I have it selected. Now I'm going to come over here to the offset panel, which is the little star. It says offset panel. Click on that. Then I'm going to click on the word offset. You see that? It put an offset right around there for me. And I can make it any color I want to. I can make it yellow if I want to, right? I can make it any color I'd like to. And the other thing I could do, if you've been following me this week, is I can move this top piece off and get rid of these little cut pieces here that I don't really need. However, if it's just a print and cut, I probably really don't need to get rid of them. But just to refresh your memory, you just double click on the image and that brings up the little things called nodes or points. And when I click on one, it turns it white, which means it's the active node. And I'm just going to act on it by deleting it by hitting delete on my keyboard. Delete it. Whoops, I didn't have it still active. There we go, it's active. Delete. And then another node got selected. Did you notice that automatically? Another one turned white, so I can delete that one. And another one. And now they're all gone, and that's just exactly what I wanted. So now I can just bring these two pieces back together and put them right together like that. Now, if you're using a Cameo machine, you can, print then cut this exactly like this, right around all these little edges like that. But with our Cricut machines, we're not going to be able to do that, but we can, well, I take that back, you guys. If you have the business edition, of course, you can save it as a JPEG and take it over to Cricut and cut it exactly the same way. But as I said, today I'm just going to show you how to do things with the free version. So again, look down here, and this is what we're able to do, something like this. And what's nice is we were able to put the offset around the image, and we can print it from our silhouette, okay? And we can print it just like this. So for example, if I wanted to make this into a card, as I've said before, all I have to do is take this 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, sheet of cardstock, trim it at the 5.5 inch mark. Whoops, 5.5, not 6.5. 5.5 inch mark right there. Trim this like this. That makes 2 cards. Then, of course, I would fold this piece in half. Like that. Could use a bone folder or your fingernail. And then I would just glue this right on there or tape it right on there like that. I think that makes a super card. Okay, do the same thing with the green. And it's getting very close to Easter, so I don't know if you actually want to mail something or if you prefer sending a digital card. And I'll show you how you can do that. Oh, can we do that? Ah, you might have to have the business edition to do that. Hang on. 5.5 right here. Cut it. But actually you won't have to have it, so I'm going to just cut this in half like this, or fold it in half like that. Okay, and then I could put this one right on here. And I think I could have 2 really cute cards very quickly, and I think they're super cute. So you might be wondering, okay, I see how you did the green one, but how did you do the purple one? Well, let me show you that. So let's come back up here to this screen. And remember that tool we used over here? This one, I think it was this one. Yes, I clicked on this one, which is the effects panel again. And this time what I did was I came up here to this paint palette that says colorize. And then I can just change this by moving this. Here's the thing though, I probably wouldn't want to leave my offset that color, so I would ungroup these if I had grouped them, but I didn't. Take that out of there and probably just go ahead with this one selected. Mess with the hue color of this one so I can make it any colors I like. So I can easily make many different cards using the same image, but they'll look totally different. And I really think that's kind of pretty. So I'd put this behind here, but you know what? What I'd probably do is click on this, come up here, click here, get the eyedropper maybe, and maybe click this pinky color here and see. do I like that? Would I like that? And let's see if I can, remember you come up here to the bullseye and center them. So that's another way that you can make another card. Now, as I was saying, at first I had told everyone that, you know, you can do all of this with Cricut Design Space or with just this software actually and your printer. But I was a little bit wrong, I think, because what I wanted you to see was that you could also send this as an email to somebody. And I thought for a minute, I just got in a panic thinking, oh no, I'm wrong, because actually to send this, or even this one, as an email to somebody, because what a nice thing. It doesn't have to say Happy Easter. By the way, let me show you something. You can get this little square like this, okay? Take the little square over here, drag it right over top of this stuff right here. See that? So I came over here to the shape tool, I got a rectangle, and I drew it over top of that. Next thing I'm going to do is just come up here to the color palette. I can get the eyedropper, and I'm going to change that blue thing to the same color. Now notice there's still a line here that I don't want. And that was the outline of the square. So that was the line color. So here's the color of the rectangle. This is the line. I could change that to either the same color or make it transparent. Either one, like that. So then I could take this, and this is how I did the one that said joy or something like that. I came to the text tool, clicked here, and just typed in joy. And what I probably want to do first, though, is just group all of this so it stays together. And then bring my joy back over. And as you know, those of you who've been following along, you can just go ahead over here to the text style panel and change it to any font you like. Maybe you like Magnolia Sky. I happen to like Samantha Craft, but Magnolia Sky might be a pretty one. And then, of course, you can change file. Oops, not file, I'm sorry. Click on this and just come up here and change it to any color you like, maybe a dark green. Okay, so if I wanted to print this for my Cricut, you know, using the free version, right? And I don't have a Cameo. All I have to do is just grab all this and group it. I am going to have to cut it with my little cutter, okay, if I don't want to save this for my Cricut and I don't have a Cameo. But how hard is it going to be to cut a piece right around here if I printed it? Or if I was doing this one, what I would probably want to do is come over here and draw a rectangle. As you'll remember, the rectangle for an A2 card, the width of it is usually, well, I'll make the width 5.5 and the height 4.25. Okay, and that is what the folded card would look like. In this case, the fold is right here. Okay, I was opening it this way. Sometimes you have your cards where you can alternate it or rotate it like this, and the fold is here, and your card opens up. But since this is wider than it is tall, I like it this way. Holding down my shift key so it flops right back into place nicely. Right, then I'd probably change it to white. And I would bring this thing over, and I probably need to right click on it to say bring to front, because I bet it was going to go behind there. Then all I have to do is keep making this smaller so it's going to fit. Okay. Now the thing is, this is going to fit right smack dab on the front of a card. If I wanted this to be on an inside card like I had made over here, smaller than my regular card, right? I would need to make this thing smaller. So what I would do is, rather than have this be 5.5 inches wide, I'd make it 1/4 of an inch smaller, and I hope this isn't going too fast. So right now it's 5.5 inches wide, 5.5 inches wide. 1/4 of an inch narrower, whoopsie, 1/4 of an inch narrower than 5.5 is, where's my 5.25, 5.25. Okay, and then I would change the height. Right now it's 4.25. To make it a quarter of an inch smaller, I would simply make it 4 inches. Okay, and then again, I could, if I wanted to, just go ahead and come up here and center, make sure it's all good, and then say group. All right, so here's the thing. If you're making this for your Cricut or anything else, and you're just going to use your printer, you're not even going to use your machine. All you have to do, if you want to, is go ahead and Alt and make another one, just so you have two of them printing on one piece of cardstock. Maybe come back up here. Let's see, I think I'll ungroup it now. Just come back up here for the heck of it to this tool that we used a moment ago, the Image Effects panel. Change this color, the hue, and change it to something else right now. You know, and then of course I could do the offset and change it to a different color also by ungrouping it and changing it. Okay, and I'll just show you. So I would ungroup all this, bring the offset out, and probably change it. Maybe I'll do it that dark color. I don't know, maybe that's too dark. Yeah, I don't think I like that. I'd probably make it, and this is probably too light. Anyway, you just putz around with the colors and make them something you like. And then I would just center everything again and then group it. All right, so here's the thing. While you're in Silhouette Studio, no matter what machine you're using, you can use your printer, okay? So I can use my printer and I can cut these manually with this little cutter, which is so easy peasy, right? So all I have to do is come up here to File, Print. Look what it's going to print like. Okay? If I wanted to have, let me show you something. If I did want to have these lines right here show up so I knew exactly where to cut and I didn't have to measure, what I could do is click on this image, come up here to where it says point, and change this to a 1 and hit enter. That made that line large or thicker. So let's see what it looks like now if I say File, Print. See that? Now you can see a line, and that on that line is exactly where you're going to cut. Or maybe you want to cut just a smidgen inside of it. But that's how you can use this program. I do see something that you may not want to have happen, and I think I made, since this was all grouped together, when I made my line size 1, it also made the red line around here a 1. So watch, I want to show you. Let's go to Print, File, Print. It's going to give us a preview. Can you see that there's that little red line that's going to print all around there? I don't want that red line to print. So I'm going to go ahead, get rid of this, and I'm going to undo this. And hang on one second. I'm going to show you this. I got to look and see my... okay. Oh, okay, nothing. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought maybe somebody was saying that you weren't able to hear me or see me, but it looks like it's still working okay. All right. So, damn, he's texting me, I think. Let me see. Let's go back to where I was. Here. No, not there. Sorry. Here. Okay. So what I was showing you that I can do is this. I can ungroup these things, right? Take this out. And I'm going to change this line color. See how it's a 1? I'm going to change it back to 0. Okay, and now that's not going to happen anymore, so watch. I'm going to go ahead and center these. And I'm going to show you on the green one down below what I'm talking about, okay? So there we go. So I'll show you again in just a moment, but right now, let's go up here to File and Print. It's going to give us a preview again. This time, notice there's no red outline around this, but we do have the box, so I know where to cut. So let's cancel that. So you're not confused, this is what you need to do. Take this box, ungroup it, and just grab this outer box and just make its point size a 1 and hit enter. And I think that should have just gotten the box. So let's, whoopsie, sorry, Control Z. Let's group this together. And let's go to File, Print. Yep, see that? So what it's going to do, it's going to print this with this beautiful offset that we've made. It's going to print this with a beautiful offset. And of course, I can have it say anything I want to. And it's going to make that really nice offset that we put on here. I'll know where to cut it, and that's that. So let's continue on. I hope nobody has any questions. I guess I could try to look there really quick. Hang on just a second. I'll put you back to that screen so I can go here and see if there are any questions. Okay, I don't see any questions. Okay. I'm going to put... I'm not sure where Tammy is. I see you guys are saying you don't see Tammy. I'm not sure where she is either. Huh. Let's see. What if I start a watch party? Okay. So, I'm going to put... Okay, hang on, you guys. Sorry about this. Okay. So let's go back now and we'll start on our next thing. Okay, here we go. All right, so I hope you understand how this all worked. And for those of you joining later on YouTube, if you have any questions, make sure you put them underneath of the, in the comment area, underneath the video, and I'll try to answer your questions there. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, this was the same one, same thing I had just done. So this was a sample, another one. Let's see what's next. Okay, here's another one. So I just grabbed this image off of the internet, off of Google, and this would be a fun one to send to a child, right? Or someone and they could get it either in the mail if you want to print and cut it out, or you can send it to them as a digital postcard. So here are two samples of what I thought I could do. Happy Easter, love mom and dad. So you just find images like this, and then you can put your own text on them, or Happy Easter, love mom and dad, right? So if this was going to be something that I was going to send, oh, I forgot to show you that. If this was going to be something that I was going to send via the email, since I don't have the business edition, I can't click on this and say File, Save Selection to the hard drive. I cannot save it as a JPEG. However, if you're working in Windows machine, you have the snipping tool. Okay, this is the snipping tool, and I know you have something similar to this with your Macs. So with the snipping tool, you just click on the word New, and then I just draw a box around this, and there it is. And now I can go to File. I'm going to have another program that's going to pop up probably in a minute. There it comes. Ignore that. Okay, now I'll go to File, Save As, and I can save this as Bunny. Well, oh, that darn other program. Sorry, you guys. Oh, no. Okay, so I'm going to go to File, Save As. I'm going to name it Bunny. Okay, hopefully you're following along now. So what I did was I used the snipping tool. I'm working in Windows. If you don't have Windows, you have something similar to this with your Macs. Draw a box around it, and then you go to File, Save As. I'm going to save it as Bunny, and now I can save it as a JPEG file. Look at that. I'm going to save it as on my desktop. So now, if I wanted to email this to somebody, all I would have to do is open up my email and insert this as an attachment, or however you do it in your email account. So that's a way that you can find any image you like on the internet, put your own text on it, and send blessings, send hope, send love. All right, so how did I do this? So here was the image, right? And if I'm going to make it an A2 size card for print and cut, of course, I'm going to want to make it a certain size, because here, let's show you here, this white one, this represents my folded card, right? This is just the front of my card. This is the piece that's going to go on top of it. And then maybe I'll put this one, let's say I've got to move it to the front, bring it forward on top of the, whoops, bring it to the front on top of that. So I could have it like that if I liked it like that, or I could change this to another color. Let's see, I want to make that a different color. Let's see, what should I make it? Blue? Nope. So you just find something that you like. And I'm going to probably, okay, that's fine. All right, so we have 3 pieces right here. Now, as you'll know, this first piece right here, that's our white cardstock that we're going to cut out. I'm going to cut it out. I'll get 2 of them out of an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Okay, so this piece right here, I'm going to group it. This is the one that I'm going to just print, and then I'm going to cut it out with my, manual cutter. But see, I was able to put a box around this and an offset, and I'm able to put a text in here. I don't want to put it up there. I better put it down here. Oh, I'll just do it here. I'll just type in the word hello for now. Okay, so let's bring that down here. Now we can see the word hello. Let's say I want to change its color so it matches the border that I just made, like that. Whoops, I got to right click on it, bring it to the front, and put that like that. So now I have a card. I can print this out on my printer just like you would do a photograph or something, and then attach that to my card. Or I can make sure everything's grouped together. I can get the snipping tool again. And I hate that that other one's going to keep coming out and bothering us. This is all that you'll have, though. The snipping tool, new, draw a box around it. As soon as you go, File, Save As. See, there comes that other one of mine. Save As. I could name it Hello, Bunny Hello. Okay, save it on my desktop. Save it as a JPEG. Save. And then when I open my email and I want to send this to my grandbabies or whatever, I just have to go and address it to them and just put attach this. And hopefully y'all know how to do your email. And then I could send it a virtual card or a digital card just like that. So that's how you do the bunny one. Let's see what's next. Okay, here's another one. This was easy peasy too. Again, all I was doing was this. I found this on the internet and I thought, I might like to send that as a digital card to somebody, but it's a little bit plain like that. So maybe I want to put a couple of offsets on it so that before I save it as a JPEG or print and cut. All I have to do the offsets is come over here to the star, say offset. Maybe that first offset I'm going to make, I'm going to get the eyedropper and get a color from in here. Maybe the first one I'll make this purpley color. Maybe I'm thinking I want to make it a little fancier than that, so I'm going to click on this. I'm going to make it another offset. This time I'm going to make it the pretty goldish color, and I'm going to grab it. Boop. Just like that. So again, all I have to do if I want to have this as a digital file is first I just group everything. Group. And then I would come down to my snipping tool, which is in Windows. I'm sure you have something else in Mac. Go to New, draw a box around it, and then save it as a JPEG. If I wanted to cut it out and put it in a card on a card, I'd really want to make sure that its size would fit. Maybe I'd need to make it a little smaller. And I could make more than one of them if I wanted to. Okay. And actually, if I wanted to, you know what I could do, you guys, is this. Come over here to this box, the little shape. Draw a box around this text if I can. Let's see if I can. Not very easily. All right, so I'm going to have to play with this a little bit, but that's okay. We could do this. So what I would do here, I could just change this box to white, like the background. And I'm going to scroll in. There's probably an easier way to do this, but for right now, I'll just do this. I'll get this circle here, see what I can get. Whoopsie. Okay, so what I'm trying to do, I don't like that circle. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm not sure what would happen if I used the eraser. Okay, the eraser will work just fine. Looky here now. Since this is white, I can just use this eraser to erase this stuff. I think. Uh-oh, that looks weird. All right, so let's go to the selection tool. Select that. Get rid of some of these little things. I think I'm doing this the hard way, you guys. I hadn't really planned on this. Okay, I don't know about this. Let's see if I take this thing, if I grab this. Let me see. No, see, that's erased all the way through. Okay, so let me go Control Z and go back to where we were and get rid of that erased junk that I just did. So I'll just do it the way I did it before. And there's, like I said, I hadn't practiced this, so there might be an easier way. So if you're hollering at me how to do it, sorry. All right, so I'm going to get that over there, and I can drag this a little bit bigger. All right, like that. And then I'd probably get another rectangle and just draw it like this and make it white. Well, my point is this. Okay, make it white. And I can make this be nothing and make the outline of this be blank or nothing. So my point is, what I'm trying to show you is this. You could make it say anything that you wanted to say, or you could leave it totally blank right here. Now I'd still have to get rid of this stuff. You could leave this totally blank. This over a little bit. Make that white. Make the color of the line white or transparent. And again, I still have some more here to get rid of, but pretend like I've gotten rid of all of that. So what I could do is, let me scroll back out. That could be part of my thing that I'm going to print and cut, right? And I'm just going to cut around this, okay? The other thing that I could do, suppose I wanted to have something that pop dots up right here that says Happy Easter, right? So I could bring this box down here. Again, it's a box, so we can cut that with our cutter with scissors. I could change its color to white. I could write, you know, anything I want to, like, I'll just say hope again, okay, like that. I could change the font to anything I like. After I click on the font, that. Make it any size I like. And in addition to that, I could even put an offset around my text. So I could do this, hope, and I could make it maybe the purple color, and then maybe I'll put an offset around it. So I just come over here again to the star, okay, and say offset, and I can make its offset much smaller because that looks way too big. That. And change its color maybe to the gold color. Okay, I'm not crazy about that, but you get the idea, right? So then I could, again, if I wanted to, just like I had done before, I could make this line a little bit more thick so that I could see it and know exactly where I wanted to cut. Or I don't have to, I can kind of figure that out. But if I wanted that line there, I could just come up here to the point size and make that a 1 and hit enter. And let's see. So let's see. If I was to print this, let's just see what's going to happen. So I'm going to go to File, Print. So see that? So you can do all this fancy stuff, adding offsets and things, and you don't even need to worry about whether you have a Cricut or a Cameo or anything, just as long as you have a printer and some way to cut. Another way that I like to cut oftentimes is using, let's see if I have it nearby. Yeah. Oftentimes the way I like to cut is just like this. I take this ruler right here and a blade like this, and then I'm able to just cut it. Now, of course, I would not do it on this table. I would do it on my cutting mat, but I could just cut like this right along where I needed it to cut for the words. Okay, and this would be really a pretty backing to have behind that word hope, wouldn't it? All right. So there's that one. Let's X this one out. And what do we have else? Okay, here's a cute one. I thought it was cute. A little bunny. Maybe you want to send the grandchildren a bunny card. Okay, this is one like we learned earlier this week. You see how a little bit of this image looks kind of weird on the left-hand side right there, and we don't want that in there. We could do two things. We could get the knife tool over here, hold down the shift, drag it down, double click, and that gets rid of it. Or let me hit Control Z to go back. What we could do is just double click on it, and that puts these four little boxes around it. We can move this over a tiny bit, and that over a little tiny bit. Okay, so that's what we could, oopsie, I must have messed up here, so I'm going to move this down a little tiny bit. There we go. All right, so that's what we could do for this. And again, it could be a print, then cut a rectangle. Before you print and cut it, though, you might want to do something like this. I love this font. This is, what is this? Let me see. Geldotica, I think it's called. Let's look over here in my font area. I got to open it first. There we go. Should be in my recently used, I thought. Nope, I didn't recently use it that recent, I guess. Gel, G-E-L, and I got it from defont.com. Here it is. Geldotica, G-E-L, Dotica. Here, let me write it out for you. And I'll write it in that font, actually. There's a lowercase one and then a regular one. So I'll just do G-E-L. Ah, son of a gun. Oh, I got to type something first. Sorry. G-E-L. Then I can click here and get Geldotica. Okay, Gel. I love this font. It's just so much fun for kids, I think. D-O-T-I-C-A. Geldotica. And there's also a Geldotica Light. But isn't it? It's fun, I think. And look how cute it looks with Somebody Loves You. Wouldn't that be a cute card? Now, you don't have to print and cut it, remember? Because that's a lot of ink you're going to be using. I do use a lot of ink, and oftentimes just to show you guys how to do stuff. But this one would be a super one to send to some kid, Again, all you have to do if you have a Windows machine, bring out your little snippet tool, little snipping tool, looks like this. Do a search for it. It's probably right there on your computer. If you don't have a Windows machine, check it out. There's something for Macs. So you just go to New, and then once it opens up, you'll draw a box around it, and then you'll save it as a JPEG, open your mail, insert it into your mail that you're going to send to your grandchild or whomever. Okay, that's that one. Let's see, I think we have, that was just the one I did originally. Oh, you see what that is? So I took some of this stuff here, these flowers and that kind of stuff, and I just added it to this. This was just to make a thumbnail for you guys so you could see it. I thought it turned out sort of cute. Okay, I think the last one. Okay, this is the one I showed in the very beginning. For those of you just showing up now, Stephanie in our Facebook group had shown us this. She's from the UK, so those of you in the United States realize we have people from all over the place, and we're all in this together, right? So she's trying to encourage her postman, the guy who delivers her parcels, and the refuse collectors, and she's putting these kind of signs like this in her window just to thank them, and I think that was really a sweet thing to do. So the last one I had here was just this one. I found another image since today is Good Friday. Isn't that a beautiful image? And all I did was added the word peace to it. So I ungrouped this. There's the word peace. I just added that right in there. And I didn't want it to show too much. So I just made it a light color. The other thing you could do if you want to, if this is a digital card again, you're sending a postcard like this, you can click on this thing and come over here to the offset panel and say offset, and you can put a nice little border around this. Maybe you wanted it like a frame, okay? So right now it's rounded corners. You can make them squared if you want to, and you can change them by coming over here to any color that you'd like. And I just think that would be a nice thing to do for somebody, to send them a digital card. Wishing them peace, wishing them hope, happy birthday, hey, hang in there, whatever, There's so many things that we could do with this. But again, I wanted to show you guys who have just the free version of the software that we really are able to do a lot with if you have a printer, with your printer, because you can, let me go back and show you one more thing real quick. Let's bring one more blank page up. Let's say you wanted to do, you wanted to type out happy birthday. Okay, and maybe you wanted to center these, I guess, probably. So I'd come over here to the font tool again, and you'll learn all this if you keep following along on my videos, because I show these kind of things, or if you're in our Patreon class. It's only $5 a month. We have a really good class. But anyway, you can come over here and center that stuff. But here's the good thing you can do. Let's say you have a color theme going on, and maybe you want it to be, I don't know, purple. And I don't know, let me think. Black and gold, that's the colors that the high school I went to. So we'll pretend gold, and then I'm going to put an offset of black on it. That might be ugly, but we'll see. So I'm going to come over here to the offset, say offset. I'll leave it the size it is just because it's okay. But you know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to make that offset white first. So I'm just going to make that white. Let's see, white. Okay. Oh, I made it yellow. Whoopsie daisy. White. Okay. And then maybe I want to make one more offset on this. So I'm going to offset it again because it is for my, we'll say it's my Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'll make this offset black. Okay. So, and I don't really like the gold color that I use. So I'd go back in here and find a better gold either over here, or don't forget, you can always come way over here to this paint palette and go to advanced options and find another color that you think you might like better. So I'm not going to waste all your time doing that, but I can scroll through these and just kind of see, hey, you know, no matter what color you might like to use, change them like that. So that's pretty much it for today. Oh, by the way, if you have a Cameo machine, of course, you know, whoopsie, oh, look at that, that's kind of cool too. But if you have a Cameo machine, as you know, you can group all these things together. And then when you go to print and cut this, it'll cut right around these little bumps like this. Now, if you have the business edition, you can make your Cricut do that too. But if you only have the free version, what you can do with this is just go ahead and maybe put a box around it. Right click and send the box to the back, and then make the box white. Okay, and maybe again, like I was showing you earlier, if you want to know exactly how to check, cut it, since you're manually doing it with either a razor blade or an X-Acto knife or your cutter, you might want to make the line point size a 1. Enter. Okay. Oh, did I already group it when I did that? I hope not. No, I didn't. Okay, now I'm going to group it. So you change the line size, the point size, before you group it. So let's just see. If I was going to go ahead and print this and then cut it out, if I go to print, so you saw that again, right? Those of you who might be new, all you have to do is come up here to File, Print, and it's going to give you an idea of what it's going to look like. So it's going to print this just like this with this line right now because we made it a 1, so you'll know exactly where to cut it. So that's pretty much it. And I really do not like that color. I made that, so let me make it something better. See, I'm done. Right now what I have selected is the black, so I'll make the black a different color. Okay, but let's move that out. Oops, because it was all grouped. Let me ungroup. So I can still fix this. There's the black. Let's say I want to make this offset pink and this black. I don't know. Anyway, you can just play around with these things and see what you get and what you like. Like, I probably wouldn't like that. I'd probably make that white instead. This purpley color. Okay, make that white. Boop. And then I'll just bring this back behind it. So, okay, that looks a lot better to me. There's one thing more that I would do if I was doing this for a real print and cut, or even just a print for my Cricut, or, just doing a printer with my printer. I would come here and double click on all this because you see this little blue thing showing through right here? That doesn't look good to me. So I can get rid of that because when I double click on it, remember the nodes come up or the little points. Click on one, it turns it white, it's active. I'm going to act on it, I'm going to delete it. The next one turns white, delete, gone. Here's some more in here. I don't want those little pieces like that. Click, delete, delete. Click, delete, delete. I don't need this thing. Delete, 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 delete. I don't need this. So any of these little things that I don't need, I can just double click until I get a white node or a white point, making it the active one, and I can just delete them. And that looks pretty good. Sometimes what I might have done also is just go right here, because you see how that goes way up in there. If this was actually cutting in pieces, I probably wouldn't want to cut like that. So I probably just click on that and go delete, delete, delete. Whoopsie, too far. Boop, boop. Okay, so double click, delete. See what it got next? It got this node. I don't want to delete that one next. I want to delete one of these up here again. Delete, and this one now. Delete, and this one. Delete. Okay, so there we go. All right, I hope you get the idea of what I've been trying to show. I'm going to go back down to my desktop one more second so I can try. I'll show you these again. And I'm going to double check and make sure I don't see any questions. And then I'm going to just save this, and I will save it over in YouTube in case anybody has any questions. Yep, that's it. Thanks, Dawn, for putting that in there, the gel Dotica. All right. Look and see. I don't see any questions, I don't think. But I'm not very savvy in using this. So thanks a lot for joining me, you guys. Again, remember, if you're watching this on YouTube, to ask your questions down below. Remember to subscribe, hit the bell so you're notified when I go live, and I'll see you again next time. So thanks for joining me, you guys. Bye. Happy Easter. See ya. And if Stephanie's here, she's going to laugh because I don't know how to. Oh, yes, I do. Bye.